Hello everyone, I'm Marieanne, the Artsie Crafter. Welcome to my channel. And today we're going to be playing with some leaves. And here's a whole tray of them in front of me here that I've collected around the yard. And if you're lucky enough to be in the parts of the world where you observe the changing of the seasons, from like here in Australia, we've just come out of winter and we're into spring. We're actually the end of spring. And in the northern hemisphere, you're going from summer into autumn, so all your leaves will be changing color and dropping off the trees, where ours have already dropped off the trees and died, and now new leaves are springing on the branches as I speak. So I thought what a great time would be to collect these leaves, whether they're old leaves or new leaves. I've got both. The one thing you need with the leaves is to make sure they have some veins in them, because the veins are what are going to create the texture in today's video tutorial. So you need some that have some strong veins on them, and there's tons of different ones. I'm using things like what am I using? I'm using some ivy and some maple, and I'm also using, I've got some cherry leaves. I've got two lots of different cherry leaves. I can't find the other one at the moment. No, that's ivy. Yeah, they're cherry tree leaves, and this is just some what do you call it? I don't even know what this is. It's like a weed in the garden, but it's very pretty. And I had some dried leaves and a few gum leaves and all that kind of thing. So that's what I'm going to play with today. I've even got some fishbone fern, because they've got a strong spine on them. And then I've got various camellia leaves, and yes, anyway, that's what I'm going to play with. So I'm going to choose some, and we'll get on with today's tutorial. So the supplies you will need is some paper. I'm just using some copy paper. It's 120 GSM. You can also use art paper. Any kind of paper will work on this, because we're not creating works of art, we're just creating papers for our journals. So we need some of that, and we need some paint. I'm using watercolor paints here, my trusty little pack of watercolors, and of course you need some water, and I need a palette just to mix some colors up on here. You also may use some gold paint. This is gold acrylic paint. You don't need that, but that's handy. Perhaps a sponge. Also, I'm using two small paintbrushes. There's a reason why I'm using two that I will explain in a minute. And maybe a liner brush or a thin brush, paintbrush, that maybe to add some extra elements at the end. So I'll just put that aside. You don't necessarily need that. I need some cloths here, and also some tissues, because you'll be mopping up lots of paint. So I have them handy at the side here. I'll put this one over there and that one over there, and the center of this piece, the most important part, is some texture paste, modeling paste. You can even use crackle paste, something that's got a bit of texture. You could even mix up some white paint, acrylic paint, and put some flour in there, corn flour, or some baby powder, just to add a bit of texture to the paint or the modeling paste. If you haven't got modeling paste, that is. So that's what we need today. And so to start with, I'm already gone ahead and painted on some backgrounds, so that cut down the timing process, because I'm sure you've all slapped some paint on some paper and let it dry. So that's what I'm going to use as the base of my textured leaves. And to start with, I've got some of these dried leaves. They're like a gum leaf. I couldn't find any living ones, so I'll have to put up with those ones. They must have blown in from some trees around the area, because we don't have any gum trees on our property. So that's where I'm going to start with today, and I'm going to start with the largest one and just create a design as I'm going. So this is why you need this little palette here or some plastic, so you can mix up some paint. And also we're going to be painting this texture paste onto the leaves. So one is for painting the texture paste onto the leaves. The second brush is so that you can dip into your paints and dab onto the texture paste. So that's why you need the two, because you don't want to contaminate the texture paste with your paint or the paint with the texture paste. So that's the idea behind that. And so I'll need these close by, and hopefully I'll dunk them in the right water. So it's just a matter of starting. And so I'm using, make sure I remember which one I'm going to be using for the which product. Okay, I just wet my brush and then I pick up some texture paste, and sometimes it's better to do it on the front, sometimes it's better to do it on the back of the leaf. I haven't really experimented to see which side is the best, but I'm going with the back of the leaf. And you just want to put enough texture paste on there to cover the leaf and to give some texture to that leaf, like that. And leave my brush in the water and turn it over. And I haven't used dried leaves before, so this is going to be a bit of an experiment. So we put that down, and this is where the cloth comes in handy. You just place it down and dab it very carefully, because you don't want to spread that paste out. Otherwise it'll squish out further than the leaf, and that's what you don't want to do. And it's a bit caught up on that one. There we go. And you just lift it up carefully, and ta-da. And the idea of this, I could have got a bit more leaf on there, but that was my tentative start. One thing I didn't do, silly me, I can paint that one later, but the whole process of this, I'll start again. And I need to make sure you wipe your paintbrush, and we'll start this again. Didn't do a very good job the first time around. The idea is to paint the leaf with the texture paste, and I usually go from the center outwards and wipe that off, put that away, and that's where you need the second paintbrush. And I just wet it and dab it off. I've got all these wet. I've sprayed them. I'll just spray them a little bit more. Make sure I get the whole the right way around. I don't want to spray myself in the face. There we go. And then I'm going to be using some teal greens. Thought it would be pretty. And I'll turn it over the other side so it's the opposite. So I'm not got the color on this side. So I'm starting with the side no color on it. And I dab into the blue, and I'll mix those two colors up on the leaf as I go, and put that in the water, and start again. And I'm going to have it going down like it's on a vine, or a branch I should say, and I'll dab it in a little bit more and lift it up and see how we go. I've still got white coming through, but that's how it looks. So I'll continue down, and hopefully I will and keep a bottle of water as well. I didn't mention that before. There we go. And of course I'm doing it on camera now, so it's not turning out so well, but never mind, we'll persevere. I've got some different size leaves here, so I can make a design on my page. And so I might start with the small, go on to the small one, and this way I can, I want it going that way, so I'm going to paint on the front side this time. So make sure I got the right paintbrush, dab the water off, pick up some texture paste, dab it onto the leaf. You want enough to create some texture. There we go. And then dab that off. And see if I can do it. Yeah. I don't know why they turned out white. It's the first time that's happened. I'll wash that out this time. Dab it off and pick up some of that blue. Okay, see how we go this time. And my cloth. So you just need your fingers. You definitely don't want to be using a brayer. I tried that and it just squished all the paste out. The other thing that might be handy, I have to apologize to you all. My video cut out while I was painting the rest of these leaves, but I do a full reveal at the end of the video to show you how I finished this page. Okay, excuse the interruption, but I don't know what's wrong with my phone camera today. It just, or the last few days, it's few times I should say, it's just been, keeps cutting out for some reason. It's highly annoying. So I'm going to have to take it to the technician and find out what on earth's going on. I'm going to have a video that's going to stop, start, and I didn't want to do another big leaf. Let's try this again, will we? Here we go for the third time. It's not only my phone camera that's having technical difficulties, it's me too. So it seems. I don't know. When I was doing this the other day, or yesterday, it was working out quite fine. So I don't know why it's causing me problems today. It's just very frustrating. Okay. They say third time's a charm, so we'll see what happens this time. Okay. Excuse me. That's much better. Okay, see, I've got that. I'll double dip it. I'm not going to put the cloth down. I'm going to be a rebel and not listen to my own instructions. See if this works. Yes, and I think I'll do the small one here, and that I'm going to call it quits. I think that would be a wise idea. I might add a dash of color, and I might add this color here just to add some brightness, and just mix in a bit more of that texture paste because I don't want it too bright. Should use the tweezers. I keep forgetting. Oh, I like that. That's very pretty. So I will try it again down here. And this one here, if I got that white, I might try and put this over the top of this one because it's just got the white texture paste, and try and put it exactly in position over the previous one and see if I can get that to lighten up. Okay, see how this works out. That's much better. I like that. And I think I will call that quits because that's a skeleton there, so we'll leave that as it is, and we'll come back to that when it dries and finish it off. Here I've got another background where I've just painted on some branches, and this time I will try out these cherry blossom leaves and see how that goes. Hopefully I will I be a bit more successful doing these ones? For I don't know what's going on with me today or my camera, but we will carry on regardless and see how it works out. So I will do the back, paint the back. Start with that's the paintbrush with the texture paste. Move it a bit further so you can see it, and dab it on. What colors will I use? I think it's time for some greens, and I might start with darker at the top and lighter at the bottom or something. Anyway, see how we go. Put it on there so it looks like it's coming off that branch, I should say. And how did that turn out? Not bad at all. That one's much better. And of course, I've got to remember, where will I put it? Down here, I think. Okay, not too bad for a skeleton. And so I will do 2 of those, I think, as the centerpiece. And of course I better clean off my surface. I'm quite happy with that one. Finally, something's working out. And I better not talk too soon until I finish this piece. Oh, stop doing that. These have got great veins on them, these cherry blossom leaves. Okay, see how that works out, and I'll have that one coming down from there. Don't know if I explained before, but the idea of putting cloth over the top is that you can't really see where you're pressing, and because you don't want to press on the whole, press evenly on the whole leaf, because otherwise it turns out flat and you don't get that nice veining. So that's not too bad. Quite happy with that one. And so I'll keep going with different size leaves, and hopefully we'll have a decent painting or page, whatever you like to call it. Decent painting, decent page, or design I should say, might be the best description. I'm really pleased with this one. It's turned out a lot better than the other 2. So I've got some sample ones there to show you the other ones that did turn out that I was playing with before I did film it. And I don't want to add too many more. Should I put another one there and then add a couple of the small ones? Might be able to get away with that. Okay, I love that page. I'm very happy with that, so I can finish that off later with a couple of touches up. Just need to leave that dry. Okay, for this last one, I'm using some of these ivy leaves, and these are just some, I don't know what they are, generic leaves I got out of the garden. I just got them because they were small and I thought I'd use them as background leaves. So I'll put them aside here, and I didn't do anything to the background except just put some color on the background in some yellow ochre and some browns, and just let that dry. And so we will start. As I said, I'm going to use these as skeleton leaves, so I'm going to what am I going to do? I think I might do them in kind of like a white. Seeing this is a colored background, I might just do use just the modeling paste to start with and see how that works out. And just to make them skeleton. The other time I just used black paint, no texture paste, because I wanted them to turn out black. If I added the texture paste, they would have turned out grey, which is fine, but I was going for the black. Okay, so this is going to be quick and easy, hopefully, she says. Yes, that's not too bad. As I said, these are skeleton leaves, so they're going to be in the background, and I don't need to add too much of the modeling paste, but I do want them a little bit with the texture in them. I think that should be enough for a background leaf, so I'll leave that one aside, and I get on with the ivy leaves. Make sure I thin it out when I go towards the edges. Now I'm going to choose colors. I think I'll do them in variations of green. Okay, see how this one works out, and I'll place it at the top there. Okay, it's not as bright as I thought it would be, and I'll try again with that same leaf where I pull it up. Wow, that's an impressive leaf. I like that, so I'll continue on. Okay, the page is finished, as you can see. This one here, I actually went back and if I can find the leaf now, I think it was that one. I just went ahead and I just put some more green paint on it, and then I pressed it back over the top of that one because I felt there was too much white. It didn't show up against the white leaves in the background. So that's another thing you can do. If the colors don't turn out the way you want, you can always recolor without putting any of the modeling paste on. You can put some more color on the leaves and press them down, and that will make the colors more vivid, I guess, or more intense. So now to finish this off, I have a few little things that we can do. You can either use a black pen, and I've got this one here, or you can use a paintbrush to go over it, and I'm just going to draw in some vines in the back. You notice, with the ivy vines, they grow and they have little swirls and twists and turns. So that's what I'm going to do. With these ones here in the background, I'm not quite sure what to do with them. I might just outline them and draw in the veins, and then we'll see how we go with that. And I might then put some gold highlights on there. So we'll see how this works out first, and you don't have to do this stage, but I find it just makes them pop a little bit more, stand out a bit more. Okay, you can keep playing around with it, but I think it's time to get on and do some highlighting with the gold paint. Okay, get a side that's clean, so I can dab some on like that, and then go ahead and you could do the top ones or the background ones, or we could add some different color to the background with some paint. And I need another sponge somewhere. This one's got brown on it, so that might... I'm going to just add a touch of brown to these leaves. if I can. So if I can get some add some water to it. Maybe a paintbrush would have been better. Well, after everything, I finally got finished with this with all the little hiccups along the way, and I have to say that I'm quite surprised how they did turn out in the end after I added some finishing touches. As I said, I put the gold on there. You can see the gold, and then I went around these leaves because this is a page that I started with and I didn't like the way it turned out, but now I do. I absolutely love it. So I just added a little bit more of that green in the background that was there before, but I just made it a little bit brighter, and I highlighted the went around most of the leaves in some green paint, greeny blue paint. I didn't do the veins, I just left the center vein, and then I touched it up with the golds. I just brushed it on with the sponge where it was textured, and I left the background leaves as they were. And I have to say, I really love this page. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, so I'm quite happy. I'm quite pleased that I persevered and finished it, because you know, it gets to that stage where it's an ugly duckling and you just want to give it up and throw it away. But if you keep playing with it a little bit longer, it can quite surprise you, the end result. So I'm happy I did persevere with that one. So that's that one. And then there's this one here, which I absolutely love, and I ended up with splattering it with some gold. So you can see, it's funny how my camera picks it up brighter than it actually is. I don't know what that is, but anyway, I love this one as well. As I said, I used an ink pen, and I went around and highlighted the leaves, and then I dabbed on some of the gold, and then I splattered it with gold. And this is the other one. I did some swirly vines in the background. They're not the greatest, but you know, they just give a bit of extra, I guess, extra touch. And you saw me, I dabbed the white leaves in some of the brown paint because I found they were a bit too white. And then this one, again, I highlighted the leaves with some ink pen, and then I touched it up with the gold, as you can see. Touch up all the textured areas in the gold, and you can see that. There's a bit of delay in my camera. Anyway, that's that one, and this is that other one, and I absolutely adore these leaves. These are those cherry blossom tree leaves, and I love them. I think this is my favorite, and I love the way, I'm so glad that I did the tree branch behind. I think that really stands out, and I think that's a wonderful page, and I absolutely love that one. And so I don't really need the sample ones that I did beforehand, but I will show you them. This is the first one that I did with the I did a mixture of leaves in this one, so there's all kinds of leaves. There's a cherry tree, and I think they're maple leaves, and just some generic leaves, the other ones. And I did in background those skeleton leaves, and then the leaves on top, and I was quite pleased with the way that turned out. I love the color variation in those leaves. I think that was gorgeous, so I was happy with that one. And then this one was totally different. I wanted to do a black background and have some white leaves. Well, I've got a little bit of brown in these white leaves, so I did the skeleton leaves first in just the white, and then the top I did it, I think I did the background. Oh no, I did use texture paste in the background ones, but the front ones I added a little bit of brown, and I think I've added a little bit of a touch of yellow ochre, and then I just touched it up with that gold on the texture paste. So that's that page. So I was really happy with the way it turned out. This is some of my first samples here that didn't turn out. I liked these leaves, but I just, for the life of me, couldn't recreate them. And then I tried a bit of glitter, but there was no shape or form to the leaf with a bit of glitter on top. I added the glitter to the texture paste and it just didn't work out, so I gave that away. And these are very heavy in the color, as you can see. You can get that variation of color. So that's just my sample bit. And so anyway, that's how you do textured leaves. So if you've got any questions, I'll be glad to help you out. Just leave the questions in the question box below, in the comments section below, and I'll get back to you. Other than that, I hope you go and try this out. As I said, it takes a little practice. As I said, this is my little practice page. I just worked out how much texture I could add to the leaves, and of course the leaves depends on the leaves. You need leaves that have you can feel the vein, otherwise if they're flat leaves you can't feel anything. And it's quite surprising how these veins actually do turn out when you do stamp them with the texture paste. So okay, that's my lot for today. I hope I can get this when I go and edit this. I hope it will turn out, and I want to thank you very much for watching along, and I want to wish you all a very happy day, a happy crafty day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye everyone.